filmmaking is problem solving, and a great deal of problems can be solved before they happen. So. I really want to see a little more, like you're getting down to the ground, like up at the sky. I want empty, I want unfriendly, I want dead, no color, no light. You guys are going to be doing this for yourselves. I'll be back and forth for both classrooms. Hi guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us for the Fade In IB Film Festival 2021. I'm going to turn it over to our hosts, Tim and Tugra, very quickly and let the students take the floor. I just wanted to kind of set the scene a tiny bit and say film festival, the word festival has the word festive in it, which certainly implies that there should be a party. And I don't think there should be a party for this group. I think there should be a parade. It's absolutely remarkable what they were able to do and able to achieve, particularly this year, but even from the very get-go. You saw in that video is something that Vaiva put together for us, and it's you can see we started with a slightly larger group. Polly was part of the team last year, and that is, I think, 1 or 2 days of film class, probably, to be honest, the most exciting 2 days of film class last year, but that's very indicative of their process. It's very indicative of the way they approach the work, and it's just very indicative of the kind of group that they are. So it's my great pleasure to help provide this forum for them to share their work with you, and hopefully, you know, because we can't be in the auditorium with a loud, noisy, exuberant crowd, which is, you know, obviously plan A, here we are in another YouTube live stream, and I hope that the comments are lighting up with comments. It looks like they are. Yay, great, thank you guys. Please keep those coming. Shout outs, emojis, handy clappies, whatever you want to put in there. Keep it clean, keep it positive, keep it inclusive. Okay, IB Film is part of the arts area, the arts group of IB, and we study film history, film analysis, and as you saw, film production. There, in a normal year, there are 4 assessments. The one this group didn't get to do is the big one, the collaborative film project. And so if you've been to the IB Film Festival before, maybe you've seen a collaborative film project or 2 get shown. Those are longer films. What you're going to see today are 1 reel from each student that was used for the Exploring Production Roles assignment, the EPR. And each student shows a film role, directing, writing, editing, sound designing, cinematography, and a couple people pick their own film role. So you're going to see a short sample of the work that these guys did, but more than anything, the reason that we're here is just to give them an opportunity to showcase and shine, and hopefully, oh my goodness, the comments are lighting up. That's so fantastic. Thank you guys. Keep that stuff coming. That means the world. Okay. Without further ado, did I introduce myself? I'm Mr. Hume. I'm the film teacher. I think I forgot to do that. We had a rehearsal this morning, and I mentioned to the students that as soon as you get on camera, you're supposed to introduce yourself, and I forgot to do that. Okay. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our two hosts, our MCs, the hostesses with the mostesses, Tim and Tugra. Here you go, guys.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second online film festival, and thanks for joining us on today's live stream. My name's Tim, and I'm joined today by Tugra, who's my co-host. Say hello, Tugra.
Hey, guys.
So, we have a very busy schedule today. Films from each of the students in the secondary form film class will be shown, and while a lot of these films were collaborations between students, we'll be naming them the films as they were submitted by students. Without further ado, the order in which we're going to be presenting the films to begin with is as such. First, we have a film by Vaiva called Unlocked. If you want to tell us a bit about the film, Vaiva.
Yes, so it's more so an experimental exercise inspired by the intro of almost every episode to Criminal Minds or CSI New York. And yeah, I was focused on cinematography, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you for that, Vaiva. And the next film is by Tim. You want to say something about it?
Yeah. So the next film, it's called Down, and it's a compositional experiment wherein I practiced my compositional skills in terms of music with a film, and that's why the only real sound that there is in the film is of the music. I found it very interesting to work on it, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. Next, we have a short film by Tugra titled Somebody.
So Somebody is a film I directed, and it's an emotional short film that I've spent a lot of time working on. I hope you guys like it. And the short film after me is from Zuzana. It's USSR Is Canceled.
Hello, my clip is first 3 minutes of my summer project with my friend Polly. And it's a short film inspired by French New Wave about two pioneers who find out that USSR has fallen within 2 days. I hope you'll enjoy.
Next, we have a 3-minute film submitted by Alice titled Self-Care.
Hi, so I was the editor of the 3-minute film Self-Care, and the film explores the understanding of oneself, and it shows a character who finally figures out how to determine her own priorities, and I hope you enjoy.
Thank you for that, Alice. And the last one is actually Srishti's.
Hey guys, so I was a cinematographer for this 3-minute short film titled Unleash the Lie. And this film is basically a parody of the film genre neo-noir films. So it's meant to be humorous, it's meant to be light, so we hope you find it as funny as I did, and enjoy.
Thank you for that, Srishti. So all the films will take about around 15 minutes total, and we will follow it up by a short Q&A session. You can post your questions in the YouTube comment section for us, the filmmakers. We will answer as many as we have time for. We spent a lot of time, and we're proud to present the Fade Film Festival. Before we start, I want to say that all of the films are suitable for all ages. However, one clip, USSR Is Canceled, makes use of some suspenseful imagery, which can be a little intense for younger elementary students. So if you're interested in watching the whole film, you can watch it on YouTube, which will be linked to the description down below. And without further ado, let's begin.
Hello? Hey, Oh, about how long will we be? Alright. I'll see you soon, yeah. Alright, love you. Okay, bye. Hello? Jamie?
You know, I'm not exactly a morning person, but even I usually don't sleep past about 10 or 11. Makes me feel all lazy and extra tired, despite a few hours of additional sleep. Even then, though, I guess the day started much the same as any other, except a good bit later. Got myself a glass of water to get rid of that bitter morning taste, and then I made myself some breakfast. But it wasn't until I sat down to eat that breakfast that I realized what time it was. It was about 2:30. Strange, but whatever. I figured I slept in a little extra and still had some time for the meeting at 4. What was strange was that I realized that my parents were still probably asleep.
Hey, you guys should read. Lee. Mom? Dad?
They weren't there. And they wouldn't pick up my phone calls either. My best guess is that they decided to go to the meeting without me, which, considering the fact that I needed to be there to stay in school, was strange. If anything, I should have been the one to go there without them. Would have been a lot easier that way. In either case, I put on my clothes and headed out. Very quickly, I realized that I hadn't been seeing the entire picture. It was dead empty. Empty cars, plastic bags, and footsteps in the snow from the previous day were everywhere, but not a single soul was in sight. The time of the meeting came and went, but nobody showed up. I mean, of course nobody showed up. There wasn't anyone anywhere. I didn't know what was going on. It was strange, it was surreal, and I wandered around outside for hours. Before eventually, I found myself at the gate of the school, unsure of what to do. It all felt like a fever dream, but it was oh so real. and it was terrifying. And as it all started to fade away and sink in at the same time, all of my problems seemed irrelevant.
And what extracurriculars are you not in? Painting and student government. How was school? Great. I signed up for basketball and drama, just like you suggested. I think it will help me out with my applications, don't you think?
How was your chemistry test?
I'm an 87, but I already talked to the teacher and he will let me upgrade next week. And I made a study plan for the next unit.
Good.
And that's why I believe a path in medicine is the one for me.
Sounds great. I mean, I would add the part about your volunteer work, but other than that, I mean, it's good.
Thank you. I just really hope I get in.
You're gonna get in. Don't worry.
Easy for you to say. You have a spot reserved for you.
Obviously.
Oh, hello, Monica. Come on in.
Good afternoon. Sorry I'm late.
No problem. Go ahead and have a seat. So, I'm just looking through your file here, and just tell me a little bit, what exactly do you do? What are you interested in?
Well, I play the piano, basketball, and do drama.
Okay. So based on those things, what exactly would you like to pursue?
Aberton High. A place of such scum and villainy that the only real option that ever existed was that the trophy was stolen. Even here, though, there aren't many who would be desperate enough to steal a third-place trophy in high school boys basketball. But as all things at Aberton High go, some lowlife will always try and outdo the others. When I heard of this travesty at 3:13 p.m. on a rainy Tuesday night, I knew exactly what had to be done. I, Axel Morgan, needed to uncover the truth. Who could it have been? Why did they do it? And did they have any accomplices? A less seasoned detective would have had issues with finding the truth. But I know people, and I know what makes them tick. And I've narrowed it down to just 3 suspects. Bryce Smith, jock, narcissist, and captain of the basketball team. It's no mystery that Bryce was very fond of the trophy, but perhaps he was just a little bit too fond. Perhaps he wanted it all to himself. William Lee, valedictorian, chess enthusiast, and infamous for most hours spent trapped in a locker at the hands of Bryce. He's always had a personal vendetta against Bryce, but this time, did it go too far? And then there was Evangeline. Oh, Evangeline. Mysterious, charming, and aggressively French. We were all heartbroken to hear about the recent split of superstar couple Bryce and Evangeline. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to say that she was still bitter, however.
And that's why, Mr. L, I need your help. I need their schedules, any recent reports of misdemeanors, camera footage surrounding the gym within 24 hours, and...
Oh, hold on. Don't you have class, Mr. Morgan? Yes, sir, but this is far more important, can't you see?
Well, I appreciate your concern, Axel, but I think you're a little confused. The trophy hasn't been stolen. I sent it to be cleaned. Now, I really think you should return to your classes. Your teachers are going to be waiting.
Okay, Mr. Allen. Thank you. Have a great day.
See, an amateur detective would have stopped right there, thinking that the mystery is solved and the day is saved. But I knew better. This case goes deeper than I thought, and somehow, in some way, our very own principal is also involved.
All right, guys, we're back live.
Okay, so hello everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. And I believe it's time for some of the questions that we got for the films. So Victoria, you want to take it away with the first question that we have?
So we wrote some questions down during the showing, but if you guys still have questions, you can ask it in the comment section. So the first question was to Tim. They asked about the background actors and what they symbolized.
I mean, honestly, in this film, I didn't think anyone would really pay attention to the background actors, because while that was the focus initially when we were filming, it changed throughout the production of the film. But it sort of symbolized like Daniel's inner feelings. It's Daniel being the protagonist, played by Daniel, which really, the fact that it was in conflict, it was unstable, it wasn't always there, he didn't feel much, and the background actors sort of reflected that, either not being there or looking incredibly bored or fighting each other. So yeah, that's what that meant. Then we had a question for Zuska about why you chose not to have any voices in the film. I believe the question is, yes. Why did you choose to not have any voices in the film?
So that was a filmmaking accident. As we all know, filmmaking is problem solving. So that was our solution to not lost our SD card, files on our SD card. Our SD card broke, and quality that we had camera wasn't good enough. And as my film classmates know, Polly, who is the main director, is a perfectionist, and she'd rather avoid having bad quality sound. But I think they also, like, it was a lucky accident, because I think it adds even more meaning. It allows audience specifically to focus on shots and the way in which we wanted to convey the meaning in colors, in shadows, and positioning frame, rather than just listening to the story. So yeah, that was a lucky accident and film and problem solving filmmaking.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Zuska. It's really interesting. All right, Tugra, so you have the next question, I believe.
Yes, I do. And the next question is to Alice. They're asking if you why did you choose a brighter lighting for your school and a darker one for your home to represent feelings or were they just reading that wrong?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't the intention in the first place, but what we did change is the saturation of the shots and the lighting to make it brighter in the school. So yes, it can come across that way, but it wasn't necessarily intended in the film.
Thanks for that, Alice. And the next question is to Tim. They ask if the Mr. Butler scene with Bogdan was in one shot or was it not?
No, I believe the Mr. Butler scene with Bogdan wasn't in one shot, but the scene before that, the one where they go through the hallway is one shot, just edited together with freeze frames. Although, yeah, Srishti, if you want to add on to that as cinematographer.
Well, I wanted to have like one shot. I wanted to be very dynamic shot because I thought that would work really well with the freeze frames. And I thought that was just a really interesting way to introduce all the suspects as well. So yeah, I'm glad you guys like that shot.
Then I have one here that's just general for anybody that wants to answer this. And this is, would you recommend IB film to students who are not IB? Is a question that is in the chat. So anybody that wants to answer or has an opinion in that.
I think yes. I think, of course, learning about film, as everybody on this call can agree, changes the way you see film. My opinion on that is that it's definitely worth it. I might be a little bit biased, but yeah, I think it's totally worth it, and I think everyone should join IB film. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I
think you learn. Sorry.
I would just like to add on to that throughout the 2 years, I found myself doing assignments and tasks that I never thought I could actually do, and I was surprised that it's something that I actually would be able to do well. So I definitely recommend it to somebody who wants to push their boundaries.
Yeah, so if you're interested in film in general, I think you should consider the class, but you have to keep in mind that it's not the easiest class, so you can't really take it as a filler class. You have to work hard, and you will face a lot of difficult assignments, tasks that you have to follow through. So if you really, really like film and want to produce something great, you should definitely consider the class.
Yes, and then moving on to, I feel like these are some of the final questions that we have. We're getting a lot of questions regarding like how the pandemic impacted filming and what the most difficult parts of films were. And there's quite a lot of like separate questions along those lines. So I'm just going to group them together as that one, a basic idea. So if anyone has any sort of challenges that they found either because of pandemic or because of something else that they had to go around, like how did that affect your film and how you felt it ended up?
Well, I think for me, when we were discussing the 3-minute film, it was difficult. The limitation that we had was the amount of characters that we can have in the film. When we first came up, when we were first brainstorming ideas, most of them fell out of the, we couldn't use them because they had too many characters, and we knew because of COVID restrictions, we couldn't have that many actors on set. And the same thing happened with my exercise. So if anybody paid close attention to the credits, even though there were 2 characters, they were played by the same actress because of COVID. So, I think that the amount of the crew, that was the biggest limitation for me, I think.
Yeah, definitely COVID affected all of us because, for example, I was in a different country all in all. So for all 3 of my roles, I had to talk to the other crew members through Zoom or something else. And that made some of the communication stuff really hard. And yeah. So there's a question they asked to Tim. This is the Tim. They asked who stole the trophy.
That's not disclosed in the film. That's meant to be. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't stolen. Is the entire point of the film. As is, directly and explicitly stated by Mr. Butler at the end of the film, that the trophy was not stolen, and the entire point of the film really is that Axel is looking beyond what's actually there and making things up as he goes. which is expressed in a lot of the different choices that we had for both the cinematography, as Srishti would tell you, but also the editing and the color grading and things.
Yeah, so the next question is to anyone in the call. They're asking what we would do something differently in our next film.
I mean, I think for Unleash the Lie, we had to work on the music ourselves. We created the music. Tim and I and Tugra helped as well. And I think with the time limit, it was kind of hard to perfect that music. So if we had more time, probably just polish that off a little bit better.
I feel like it all just boils down to time management. If we had more time for any of the films, I'm saying this for any of the films. If we had more time, we could have done better jobs, which comes down to either time restrictions or lack of organization skills. To anything basically. Yeah, I would try to be more organized, I guess, for my next film.
Let's see, do we have any other questions, Sarah, that we haven't mentioned yet?
Yep, there is one. It's to Tim. They're saying, why did you choose to narrate the film with the stolen trophy, but not act it out? It's not like I have a problem with it, but I'm just curious.
I mean, because I like doing directing, for the portfolio, I needed the directing element of it, and doing directing without directing someone, being actor-director isn't. First of all, it doesn't look as good on the actual paper when you submit it to the IB, at least in my opinion. But also because I wanted to practice that directorial aspect of it. So yeah, I guess that's the answer to the question.
Thank you for that. The next question is to Tim again. They're saying, or to anyone in the chat, basically. They're asking, what do we think is the essence of film in general? The essence of film.
I mean, I think I'll like all of us would say that film is a lot of very different things that, while like on screen you kind of interpret it as this like one big compilation of these different effects. After having taken this film class, it's very obvious that film isn't, at least in my opinion, doesn't have like a singular essence. But it's more so about how you work with these different elements and combine them. That's really the essence of it. So the process more so than anything, I guess, if I'm not misunderstanding the question.
For me, essence, I would just say that do what you love. I feel like that's the essence, just self-driven creativity. Because I think it all boils down to whether you want to create something you love. I feel like that's what's the essence for film is for me, I guess.
I think if we're talking about like the meaning of film itself and why do we create film, I think that it's, what Mr. Hume always says, is that a good film always talks about more than the surface level. And so I think that the essence of film is to introduce ideas through a form of entertainment. And it's a way to, debate on whatever ideas you think matter as a filmmaker, in a form that would reach a lot of people. Because as we know now, film and TV shows are so easily reachable to everyone. So I think that, right now, the biggest idea of film is to discuss what's happening in the world and bringing those ideas and those problems to surface and introduce them to as many people as possible to start a debate, essentially.
Thank you, Vaiva. Okay, and a question to Tugra now. From our old classmate Polly we had last year. She's saying, love the interior opening scene in Tugra's piece. Can you talk about your inspiration and how you arrived at that visual?
Well, I wanted to feel empty, and Tim's. We shot the film. The interior side was in Tim's place, and the whiteness of it just felt right. And that's, I mean, it was more about the color and the simplicity of the furnitures that drove me to film that, film there.
Thank you, Tugra.
Okay, so we have a question for anyone in the chat. They're asking what our favorite part about the whole filming process was.
I think for me, it was interesting because a lot of the first year of film, you spend a lot of time learning about the theory of film. You learn how to edit, you learn the different types of cuts, different elements of cinematography. And I think this project really allows you to put that to use, and like it gives you practical experience. So now, as a cinematographer, I feel a lot more confident saying that I know the theory in cinematography. But it was also a great chance to just get creative and kind of think outside the box and work with my friends to create this film. So I think that was the best part.
I'm going to have to agree with Srishti. I think collaboration was one of the most important parts of this assignment. And it was very interesting to see the different ideas that my group members had. And sometimes they would suggest something very interesting. And I would remember this technique and maybe I'll use it in the future.
I also liked, in film year one, we didn't do much longer short films, I guess. We did some general stuff because we were still learning what to do. So for this one, we each got a specific role. For example, I got editor, director, and composer. So it was fun working with only one specific thing in that film and seeing how everyone's jobs, just the amalgamation of everyone's jobs was really interesting to watch and see.
Hey guys, I hate to cut in because there's still a bunch of great questions in the comments, but we're just coming up on 45 minutes, which is kind of what we agreed to do. So I just want to check and see if anybody from the film class has any final comments you might want to use to bring it home. Tim and Tugra?
I want to add one thing. I think it's on behalf of all of us. I wanted to thank you, Mr. Hume. Like, I know we say that like a lot and vice versa. We even had one of those moments today in the morning. But I wanted to use that opportunity to share with everyone who's here right now how grateful we are to be your student for those 2 years, the support we got from you, and the progress we made is just undescribable. And yeah, thank you, I guess, for maybe not last time, but one of the last ones.
You guys are very, very welcome. Can I say something to you? Typically at a film festival, they hand out awards, and actually, before I talk about you guys, I have to talk about all the other film classes. I say this with deep and due respect to all the film students past, and especially the year one group, some of whom I think are on the chat now. What I'm about to say in no way reflects badly on those guys, but I just wanted to, I say something in the class often, and I'm always kind of cautious about saying it outside the class, but this is a very, very special group. I mean, you feel a lot for all of your students every year, but this group has really, I appreciate your words about what you've learned from me. I want you to know you've taught me an incredible amount. And so if we were in person, I would like to hand these out to you if I could, but of course we're doing it this way, and now I'm having trouble with everything's backwards. That's the image from the poster, and up top it says KIS IB Film Class of 2021, best class ever. I have one of these for each of you, so you'll have to find a way to pick that up, or I'll hand it out to you if we get back together in the same space at any point in time. Okay. Thank you guys so much for your hard work and your dedication and your preparation and everything else. Tim, Tugra, do you want to wrap it up?
We're going to talk about how the whole COVID-19 thing affected us before we pass it on to Mr. Hume to end the whole thing. But we had some questions about that. So I just want to say that I'm grateful to work with anyone in my class. It was just the whole 2-year experience was just really fun in every aspect that I can think of.
Yeah, and to avoid sounding like I'm echoing you, but it really needs to be said. I mean, to avoid sounding like I'm echoing all of you, but it really needs to be said again that I'm really proud of the work that we've accomplished this year. Like, despite the limitations that we've had with the 7-minute film project being canceled, with COVID-19 being a thing, with all the limitations that we've had for like time, not only of the length of the film, but also in terms of just the amount of time that we've had to do it because of the aforementioned limitations. It's been a crazy year with a crazy class, and I believe that showing all our work today like this year is something that we all deserved after all this, because we had a crazy productive year despite all that. So I think we can give it away to Mr. Hume before we all start crying now. So yeah, Mr. Hume.
Geez, I would pay good money to see that, but I probably better let you off the hook. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. It means the world that you came out on the last Friday afternoon before spring break, and I just can't thank you enough for being here. Thanks everybody who posted a comment. I'll pull the questions out of the comments and pass them on to the group if we get a chance to share that information. Maybe it'll go in the Kozak corner, the Kozak Connect. Sorry. Have a fantastic break. Be safe. Travel well. If you travel, hurry home, and we'll see you guys all in a week. Thanks a lot.